Hello. Today, gonna make some history here. It's Saturday now, as you're watching this. At least Saturday, July 17th, 2021. I'm gonna be doing a review, a more current review, because it was just yesterday. It was Friday, July 16th, 2021. Smackdown, the first Smackdown with a live crowd in well over a year. I think since like last March, and the last SmackDown on the Go Home show for the Money in the Bank 2021. I thought, why not? Let's do a current review instead of an old review, and tell you my thoughts on it. Because a little backstory here. I've basically since WrestleMania, I got kind of fed up with the Thunderdome, and more importantly, the pipe cheers. I hate the pipe cheers so much. The pipe boos are annoying as shit. I don't fucking like them. It just grains on me. Like, I got used to them a little bit, but like, just at that point, between that and seeing like AEW having the crowds around that time more, I just didn't want to have to deal with that. Especially because you know, like, I cut a promo and you hear a crowd going, and like they're talking and like it's very distracting. And people hate like the what chants. Hold on, let me get a drink. People hate the what chants. Things of that nature, but I'll take a live crowd being annoying over stupid pipe cheers any day because it's just so irritating, grating. And I kind of decided I wasn't going to watch the shows. I did kind of break that vow sometimes, mostly for SmackDown, because I watched Daniel Bryan and Roman have their match because I really wanted to see that. I did watch the Raw pretty recently too. It had the Money in the Bank qualifiers, so I did sometimes, but it was mostly just that I would keep up with like what's going on, like check stuff online. Other than that, and also I watched Roman and Ray in the Hell in a Cell. So at the very least, I watched SmackDown more than Raw around this time. But so this is like the first show I guess you could say officially back. It's also the first show I watched live, mostly live. I didn't watch all of it as it was airing, and I wasn't there or anything. I mean, like on TV as it was airing. I haven't watched a show like that in probably since like March or something of this year. And I think it was Dynamite. But so. You know, it's kind of getting back in the swing of things. Kind of just wanted to see. You know, I really wanted to see the crowd. I want to see how things are going. Also, just people keep saying SmackDown is the top wrestling show. And there's a guy who doesn't really watch all of SmackDown. And kind of just looks on the outside. I kind of don't get that idea. But all right, let's check it out. And I thought I'd check out this with the crowd. And first of all, the first thing I'm gonna say is that speaking of pipe cheers, two quick condemnations of the show. Just two. The first is the fact that even with a crowd, they still put in pipe cheers, and it's something you wouldn't notice at first, but once you notice, it's really irritating. Like, I first noticed it when Carmella was coming to the ring. She was getting booed more than usual, and I was like, well, is that gimmick that over? I thought, well, okay, well, maybe they haven't seen this gimmick yet, and they kind of like it. It wasn't like to a level of like boos of you know, like heel. I'm trying to think of a really good heel wrestler, like someone of the likes of Roddy Piper in his heyday, or heel Batista when he wrestled Cena, he's feuding with Cena, or CM Punk in his straight edge days. No, it wasn't like that, but it was like just that really kind of loud roar. So I started going, wait a minute. I checked, and I saw people online talking about, oh, they're putting pipe cheers and throwing people off, and like, yeah, and I noticed it even worse in like backstage segments. They did this a lot, and it's annoying, and like, why are you fucking doing this? You have a crowd. There's no reason to let Kevin Dunn play with his stupid soundboard. Fuck this shit. I don't care how used you got to it. Fuck it. Just stop doing it. It's irritating. Like, I hope you're not going to do it in the Money in the Bank. Because the way I see it is that maybe this is me being biased, but it makes me not... Like, NXT doesn't do that, and AEW does not do that. So, why can't you just... The fact that NXT doesn't do it kind of proves the point that why can't you just do like NXT? They literally are the same... You're run by the same company, you know? And the second condemnation, before we even begin, is the fact that I find it a little hypocritical and disgusting. Jimmy Uso is just here after getting arrested for another DWI. Yeah, the DWI. And WWE doesn't seem to be taking any legal action towards him or whatsoever. Not legal action, I should say. Any repercussions, which it's gross on its own self that you're not going to really do anything. Maybe he's going to be suspended after Money in the Bank because he has a badge there. But it's still pretty messed up when you consider the whole documentary we saw recently, the Icon Special RVD, that you still have this man going, oh, so disappointed in RVD for driving with weed in his car, and he literally suspended RVD for a month. He made him wrestle 2 matches and lose both his titles. Jimmy Uso has been out here for like 2 weeks now. since this happened, and there's nothing. There's not even talk what's going to happen. And it's hypocritical and it's pretty gross if you're just going to let, like, I'm guessing the idea is that something's going to happen to him at the Money in the Bank. Him and Jay lose their match, and Roman, like, whoops his ass, punishment, he's injured for a while. And hopefully nothing happens to Jay, because Jay didn't do anything for this. Let Jay stick around as the right-hand man of Roman, But I find that really hypocritical and gross, the fact that you just let that fly. It's pretty fucked up. But anyway, not that I feel like Jimmy at least should be suspended. Then probably, I don't know the whole situation, maybe get some help for if he has a problem, because he might have a problem. But that's my little quick condemnations. The two big problems of the show. Before we begin, and then we started the show off, and it was really good to see a crowd again. And Vince McMahon came out to a cheer, which, yeah, whatever. I wouldn't cheer Vince McMahon, but these people will. And he said, "Where the hell have y'all been?" And that was kind of funny. I like that. And then we had the 6-man tag. Actually opened the show, which was Roman and the Usos against Edge, Rey, and Dominic. And the one thing I'll say is that no matter what, it wasn't the pipe cheers. You could tell people really were in the Edge. Like, it was great hearing this crowd go crazy for Edge. And I like that Michael Cole in commentary doesn't get a lot of credit, but he pointed out here that Edge said he returned in Houston, so he's happy to be here in Houston again. That was a nice little playoff, like little thing there. And by the way, Pat McAfee. This whole show is amazing. I love Pat McAfee. He is the best commentator in wrestling today. Whatever WWE is paying him, pay him more. He is good. But also maybe let him wrestle again, because he's pretty good at that too. But anyway, let's go on. So the first match, 6-man tag. This was a okay match. To me, it didn't feel that great. It felt kind of like the best way I can explain it is like this was a match that had 2 commercial breaks. This was a long match that felt really fast, but not in a fast-paced way. It just felt like it was like they were just going through the motions, kind of. Maybe it was kind of a feeling out process thing, There was, like, for example, there was a spot where Roman powerbombed Dominic on the table, and the announce table, and the table didn't break, and then that was go to commercial break, and then we come back, and, like, Dominic just kind of recovers and gets back in the ring. Like, to put a little example, like, a few months ago, there was a 6-man tag with El Legado de Fantasma against Kushida and MSK, and the similar spot happened with Santos. He powerbombed Kushida through the announce table, just broke the table, and then Kushida was out the rest of the match. That was the end of the match. Like, they started double teaming him, or triple teaming MSK. And then they won the match. Like, but that wasn't here. That was just like a little spot that kind of didn't do anything. But it was what it was. And in the end, the tribal chief, the bloodline, whatever you want to call him, they got the win. Jimmy Uso held the tights of Rey. And then after the match, Edge he speared Roman. And Roman was going to hit him with a chair. He was going to do the thing he does with the little thing in the teeth. Edge did it. This was like I think the first time they'd done it in a few weeks. But this is the first time with a crowd, so it was kind of cool to see. It was a cool little spot. Then we had a backstage promo after this, which was kind of cool. A backstage interview segment where Edge is being asked by Kayla Braxton about the pay-per-view. And he's saying that this Sunday he's going to win the title. And Seth Rollins, this was great. He came out from the third party arena, and he said he brought up their history, brought up the fact he had his foot on his neck, and he tried to break his neck and trying to put him in a wheelchair, and he said he was going to finish the job. He started. He said he was going to win the Money in the Bank and cash on him. This was such beautiful world building. I love this. This was great. And like the first 6-man tag, it was all right. It felt better because of the crowd. In my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, it was just kind of okay. But this segment I really loved. Then we had a video package. No, we had Sami Zayn come out next for a segment where he was saying he was happy to see a crowd again because they'll be on his side because he's been getting cheated for over a year now. And then it built up to where it was the return of Finn Balor, who we haven't seen since Karrion Kross beat him in NXT a few months ago. And he came out to a pretty good pop, from what I can see. And then he just randomly starts tagging Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn kind of tries to shake his hand. He starts tagging him, and Finn does his little the thing with the elbow. I forgot what it's called. He spins and does, and he does the 2-sweet taunt. And he did the coup de grace, and people were loving it. But to me, this was kind of a weak return. It was a nice callback. I don't know if it was planned to be a callback, but the fact that Sami Zayn actually returned on a Raw after Mania a few years ago, and he challenged Finn Balor, who was the Intercontinental Champion. And they had a pretty good match. I thought they were going to have a match here, and then when they didn't, I was thinking well, why would you have Finn just attack Sami Zayn for no reason? It makes him look like an asshole when he's supposed to be the babyface. For example, to compare this, Hangman Adam Page got beat down by Team Taz and lost the match Brian Cage. And the next week, he saw him backstage. He didn't even attack him at all. He just went up to him and all it told him basically, let's have a rematch. You beat me one time. Can you beat me without the help of Team Taz? Like, example, and he's a babyface, but he would have been fully justified to just straight up attack Brian Cage there. This is just weird because why is Finn attacking Sami Zayn? To me, it would have made more sense because I feel like SmackDown kind of needs more tag teams. Especially fresh tag teams. If you had Finn, like Sammy, just imagine if Sammy put his hand out and Finn shook it, and we saw like them kind of like raise their arms like this new partnership, and they became a tag team or something like that. Because why not? I mean, I don't know what you'd call that team, but like people want Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to be a team. That would be kind of cool, but I would much rather see Kevin Owens be by his own self and have Sammy team with somebody new. Like, why not Finn Balor? To me, that would be a more interesting outcome than this. Was probably going to lead to a brief feud between these two. I don't even know if we're going to get a reason why Finn attacked Sammy. It's probably going to be something like, oh, he's just annoying or something, you know. Anyway, the segment, I did like the segment though. I like seeing Finn, and it was cool. I'm glad they did plan a return here. That was nicely done. Anyway, next we had the video package of Apollo Crews, the Intercontinental Champion, who is not on this show, like physically. I'm sure he probably was backstage, but he doesn't make an appearance. Kind of a letdown. You didn't give him anything to do. Even maybe could have just gave him a quick squash match with somebody. I don't know who, but whatever. Anyway, considering he's the second most important champion of your show, you'd think that, right? But anyway, let's move on. We had it was Bianca Belair defending against Carmella. It was originally going to be a title match. Though it is a title match at the pay-per-view. It's going to be at Money in the Bank. Moved here to SmackDown. I understand why. You know, they kind of want a big match on the show, a big title match. And this was a really good match. In fact, it was a great match. They did some good stuff here. I liked Bianca Belair doing from a guillotine. She did the vertical suplex. She was taking a guillotine from Carmella. I liked her whipping her hair against Carmella. I like Carmella also. She was pulling Carmella like through the turnbuckle. Carmella used her hair to whip her into the turnbuckle post. That was cool. And the finish had a really good kiss on delivery. KOD. Like the way she was holding Carmella just looked so fast and so clean. So fresh and so clean. So fresh and so clean. Feels so clean like a money machine. Yeah. Shout out, Sora. Shout out. High five the both. But anyway. Also, I love the fact that Bianca Belair's attire was her lips like usual, but with teeth. It had money in the teeth. Y'all get it? Because Mella is money, and she has kids like she's eating the money in Carmella. Boom. I love that. That was a good reference. Okay. Really, fun match. My opinion, best match of the night. So we moved on that to a segment with Alpha Academy, which is Chad Gable and Otis. And I haven't watched in a while, but Otis looks so weird. He doesn't have a beard. He has this really short, weird-looking hair. And Chad Gable's talking about how they teach Alpha Academy to do the the five senses. Then when they come in the locker room, everybody hides from them and they smell fear. When they see them, they hide. And Cesaro comes up and he starts talking about apparently they had a list that people they were going to destroy. And he said, at least you weren't stupid enough to put me on that list. And then he said also they smell bull when he walks in the locker room and they're there. And then Otis attacked Cesaro with a few punches to the gut. This is leading up to a match between the two. And we had that next. And it was a really short match in the DQ. Cesaro did a few things to him a little bit. And then Chad Gable got in the ring. Game of German suplex looked good, but then he took the Cesaro swing, which was nice, and Otis attacked him, and that was it. And you have Pat McAfee commentary, or Mike Wall commentary saying Chad Gable's turned Otis into a devastating force. Did he really, Michael? Like, I don't want to be too negative, but this thing, I like the Cesaro swing, but this was kind of stupid. Cesaro deserves better than this. David Hart Smith returned before the show, and he had a segment, an interview on YouTube for WWE, and then people are saying he might team with Cesaro, and that might be why this thing's going on, which I'm fine with that. I understand why they would do that, because Cesaro teamed with Tyson Kidd, and they're like best friends, they're really good at friends, and he can't wrestle anymore, and David Hart Smith's former tag partner, Tyson, but, you know, I'm kind of sad. I want to see Cesaro get the push he deserves, you know. I want to see him actually in the world title picture, if not the world champion, and there's no reason he shouldn't be. And so this is just kind of disappointing. And also, like, Otis a year ago had the Money in the Bank, a successful tag team, moderately successful, and he had the Mandy Rose. And now he has only the tag team, a different tag team, but still, even though I'm not a big Otis fan, it's just like, what have y'all done in a year with Otis? And Chad Gable, I'd rather just see him by himself. Like, I feel like he's been in so many teams at this point. You know, I just like him better as a singles guy. Even though I like him in tag teams. That's just one. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing putting Baron Corbin with Otis and let Chad be by himself. Like, some kind of team, I don't know what you call him. We'll speak about him in a minute. But anyway, then we had a promo for Tony Storm, who's coming to SmackDown. Oh, I forgot match. I feel dumb. I forgot one. Maybe because it was very fast. So, before Bianca and Carmella, we had a tag match between Natalya and Tamina, the tag champions, and women's tag champions, and Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, who might be just called Shotzi Nox now. I don't know. And this was like very fast. It was probably 5 minutes, and they had Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega on commentary, and it was really kind of like, felt really rushed, and this was not really a good match at all. And what's funny is that they were talking about how this is like a tag team, like they didn't call it a tag team championship eliminator or gauntlet eliminator, but they like something like a tag team contendership. And it's like, oh, okay, so I was thinking, so they said this first and then knocked Tegan and Shotzi in, and I thought, oh, so they're going to face another team? Like, who do we have left on SmackDown? I was trying to rack my brain to think what women are on SmackDown they haven't fired and who they had. And I'm like, well, they can't put Liv and Zelina together because they're kind of feuding, or could they? I don't know. But then we had the tag team, so I'm like, wait, so they beat them last week in their debut, and they beat them here again to get a tag title shot. And like what kind of tag division is that? No, like, okay. Like recently, the Young Bucks lost a non-title tag match, which itself was called the Gauntlet Eliminator, and then that led to a tag title match the next week. That was their only loss, I think, this year, like in a straight-up tag match. I think they lost like a few, like 10-man trio tags. This is weird. Like, you've had the women's tag champions lose the same match, the same people 2 weeks in a row. And also, this match was mostly not even about them. It was about Liv and Zelina more. The camera was focused on them. Like, the best spot of the match was Liv doing a clothesline off the still step onto Zelina on the floor. That looked really cool. And I hope Liv Morgan wins the Money in the Bank, because I like Liv Morgan. But to me, this whole thing was just kind of, Anyway, moving on. Sorry, I forgot that. That happened a little while back, and my brain went. We had the former King Corbin. I don't know what his name is now. He comes out, and he's really sad and disheveled. And, by the way, they should give this dude Viva La Vida by Coldplay. Just pay for Viva La Vida. Because it would be awesome to hear him come out to a song saying, I used to rule the world, seas would rise as I gave the word. But anyway, so this gimmick, he's like out here, he's sad, he lost his king, and I don't really like this gimmick. I just don't really see the appeal of it. I know some people do. Like, the only part I kind of like is that he started a Kickstarter crowdfund called Corbin Fund. And it does exist. Look it up. CorbinFund.com. That's pretty funny. And yeah, that part about him, like, basically asking the people to donate and, like, kind of insulted them. Like, I know the people in Texas aren't so poor, so destitute, they're so low, they can't afford to put money in. Like, that was kind of funny. And Kevin Owens came out. They had a brief thing where he asked Kevin to donate money to him. And Kevin, like, literally thought about it, and he made fun of his ring gear, saying, like, you don't spend your money in your ring gear, and he got stunned. That was entertaining. You know, whatever. I like Kevin. Maybe I was going to leave the feud between those two. I don't know. I kind of don't want to. I mean, to be fair, this is probably the reason I probably don't like this character. Maybe it's a decent character. I don't know. To me, I don't enjoy it, but I think it's just because I'm just kind of over Baron Corbin at the moment. I don't find him interesting or entertaining. I haven't since before the pandemic. Like, his character's been very stale. At the very least, I'm happy to keep him, so I'll say that. Let's leave it at that. Like, maybe this will lead to something interesting. And the crowdfund thing, I mean, there's probably some funny stuff he could do with the crowdfund. Like, maybe he comes out with the money, like, he just... Maybe he could act like a version of Cameron Grimes, like more of an asshole, or he wastes the money, and he makes fun of the fans for doing it to him, or something like that, like a greedy jerk guy, like a greedy guy who's getting money from other people, like a grifter. I was gonna look for the word. Fucking word I know too well, grifter. Too many damn grifters in the world today. Then it was time for our main event: Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Shinsuke King Nakamura, and Big E, the 4 men for SmackDown for the men's Money in the Bank, and a 4-way. And first of all, let's talk about Shinsuke Nakamura. King Nakamura had a great entrance here. The crowd was singing along. I don't think it was piped in. I don't think it was. And they had Rick Borgs playing him. And you had Pat McAfee. Oh my God, Pat McAfee, you were so awesome. Dude was on there. He was sitting on the desk. He was putting his leg in the air, and he was like playing the guitar. It looked freaking sweet. This guy just alone, this dude just makes wrestling feel more, like, the show you're watching feel more enjoyable. I'll give him credit for that. And that was cool. And then the match itself, it was kind of like, it wasn't short, but it was very rushed. They were in the beginning they were doing like a kind of over the top rope fest, like spot fest outside the ring. Because Seth Rollins tried to run away and he got hit by Kevin Owens with a senton. No, he got hit by Biggie with the spear he does. Kevin Owens with a tope, and then Shinsuke comes over like the apron, does like a knee to him, like a sliding knee, jumping down. Then we came back, and it was kind of like they were just kind of fighting outside of the ring, and Kevin Owens got King Nakamura on the table. He hit an elbow from a ladder through the table because ladders were all around the ring for the Money in the Bank. That looked really cool. Looked like, unfortunately, a cameraman got taken down by a table, which that sucks. Really, really bad about that. But the spot itself looked amazing. Good on Kevin. And then Seth actually hit a curb stomp to Big E on the ladder, second ladder, and that was cool. So and then I like that. And then at the end he climbed the ladder and got the briefcase, even though that does nothing. I guess symbolic, whatever. But for what it's worth, this was a pretty fun, fast-paced match. It was a decent way to end SmackDown because it had like a lot of high energy. High energy. And so that was the end of it. In my opinion, for the entire show, like the atmosphere of it, it just felt really good. Good energy. And for the most part, I thought it was a damn good show. Like the only matches that really sucked were the women's tag, because it wasn't much of anything, and Cesaro and Otis, because it's just they're kind of to establish a feud between those two or something. And the rest of the show, though, was really good. It was enjoyable. It was fun. I fucking hope they knock it off with the goddamn pipe cheers. I fucking hate that shit. But for the most part of the show, I will say, yeah, I really had a good time watching. It was decent. It was good. It was like better. I'll say it was good. I'm not gonna say it was great, because in my opinion, the only match you could consider great was the women's title match. Like if we're talking about can't miss, I'd say that will probably be the one can't miss. You know, the rest is kind of just kind of standard. But I did. It was really good to see the crowd again. Even though watching AEW and I see the crowd there, it was really good to see W crowd again. Now we finally have a crowd. We had it at Mania too, but now we're kind of, the fact that we're out of the pandemic now, because we're getting past that. That's freaking nice. Now the era's kind of over. Finally. Anyway, so for the most part, I'll say this was a good show. I'd recommend watching it. And thanks for watching my video. Have a great day.